Imagine a leader who rules not by the force of their will, but by the clarity of their wisdom, the fairness of their judgment, and the calmness of their soul. Such a leader might seem like a distant ideal in today's chaotic political landscape. Yet this vision of leadership was not only proposed by philosophers of old, but was also grounded in a set of timeless values that have shaped some of the most influential political thinkers throughout history. The ancient Stoic philosopher Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, was one of the first to place virtue at the heart of political leadership, arguing that the true essence of a good leader lies not in power, wealth, or fame, but in wisdom, self-control, and justice. In the modern world, where political leaders are often scrutinized for their charisma, policies, and populism, Zeno's call for virtue-driven leadership serves as a compelling alternative. It raises important questions. What role does virtue play in political leadership today? And how can the teachings of an ancient Greek philosopher inform the leaders we look to for guidance in contemporary society? Welcome to the unfolding journey. In today's video, we're going to explore the profound impact that Zeno of Citium's philosophy of virtue can have on political leadership. Together, we'll delve into how his ideas can offer fresh perspectives on modern political systems and leadership practices. By the end of this journey, you'll not only understand Zeno's Stoic virtues, but also learn how they can be applied in political leadership today to foster integrity, justice, and societal well-being. So, sit back, relax, and let's embark on this philosophical journey. Zeno of Citium was born in Citium, modern-day Cyprus, around 334 BCE, and eventually founded the Stoic school of philosophy in Athens. His teachings, which emphasized rationality, self-discipline, and living in harmony with nature, laid the groundwork for one of the most enduring philosophical traditions in Western thought. Central to Stoic philosophy is the belief that virtue, living in accordance with reason and nature, is the only true good. Everything else, including wealth, power, and fame, is seen as indifferent, meaning it is neither inherently good nor bad. In Zeno's view, a virtuous life was synonymous with living according to the four cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues form the foundation of Stoic ethics and serve as a guide to navigating the challenges of life. Zeno argued that a leader, to be truly effective, must embody these virtues, as they offer the moral compass needed to govern wisely and justly. Wisdom, Sophia. Wisdom, in Stoic thought, means the ability to make rational decisions that align with nature and reason. For a political leader, this would mean making decisions that are grounded in a deep understanding of justice, the common good, and human nature. Wisdom is not just theoretical knowledge, but practical insight into what is best for the people. A wise leader seeks the truth, avoids impulsive decisions, and uses reason as a guide to making informed choices. Wisdom also involves understanding the consequences of one's actions on a personal, societal, and even global scale. Consider modern leaders who demonstrate wisdom in crisis management, such as New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern during the COVID-19 pandemic. Ardern's ability to make swift, evidence-based decisions and communicate effectively with the public exemplifies the Stoic idea of wisdom. Her leadership demonstrated that a wise leader does not act out of fear or self-interest, but prioritizes the well-being of others, guided by reason and a deep sense of responsibility. Courage, Andrea. Courage is the strength to face difficult or adverse situations without yielding to fear or personal desire. A political leader must have the courage to uphold justice, even when it is unpopular or challenging. Courage in leadership requires the ability to act according to one's moral principles, regardless of opposition, threat, or personal sacrifice. For example, Nelson Mandela's leadership during the apartheid struggle in South Africa demonstrated unparalleled courage. Mandela's willingness to endure imprisonment for 27 years, even at the cost of his personal freedom, exemplifies the Stoic virtue of courage. He fought not for personal power or gain, but for justice, equality, and the well-being of his people. His courage in the face of overwhelming adversity inspired millions and changed the course of history. Justice, Dikeia-san. Justice in Stoic terms is not only about following laws, but ensuring that decisions serve the common good. For Zeno, true justice was about treating others with fairness, respect, and integrity, irrespective of their social status or personal power. Justice involves understanding and upholding the principles of fairness in all areas of life, from social equality to economic opportunity. In the realm of political leadership, justice requires leaders to make decisions that are impartial, equitable, and in alignment with the needs of all citizens. A leader who practices justice seeks to create systems that benefit the common good, ensuring that no one group or individual is given undue privilege over others. The civil rights movements around the world, whether in the United States or elsewhere, have often been spearheaded by leaders who exhibited Stoic justice, working tirelessly to secure rights and equality for marginalized communities. Temperance, sophronicine. Temperance is the moderation of one's desires and impulses. For a political leader, temperance means resisting the temptations of power, wealth, or personal gain, and instead focusing on the well-being of the people. A temperate leader knows when to exercise restraint, when to compromise, and when to put personal ambitions aside in favor of the public good. Throughout history, we have seen the consequences of leaders lacking temperance. In contrast, leaders like Mahatma Gandhi or Aung San Suu Kyi demonstrated remarkable restraint in their pursuit of justice. Gandhi's commitment to nonviolent resistance and his refusal to succumb to the temptation of violent retribution highlight the Stoic ideal of temperance. He understood that real power lies not in domination, but in self-mastery and discipline. In a world where politics is often seen as a game of strategy, manipulation, and self-interest, Zeno's vision of political leadership based on virtue seems almost revolutionary. But Zeno was not alone in this belief. Throughout history, many political philosophers and statesmen have echoed the idea that virtuous leadership is the key to a flourishing society. For Zeno, the ideal leader was one who could rise above personal desires and petty politics to serve the common good with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Zeno's emphasis on virtue is particularly relevant in the context of today's political environment. Political leaders are often judged by their ability to navigate the complexities of governance, manage crises, and maintain public support. However, in Zeno's eyes, the true test of a leader's greatness lies not in their political acumen or popularity, but in their moral integrity. A virtuous leader, according to Zeno, would prioritize the long-term welfare of the people over short-term political gains, demonstrating self-control and a commitment to justice in the face of difficult choices. Moreover, political power and virtue are not mutually exclusive in Stoic thought. In fact, Stoicism asserts that true political power should be exercised with a deep sense of moral responsibility, as power without virtue leads to tyranny. Zeno himself was wary of the dangers of unchecked political ambition and believed that a leader who had not cultivated virtue could never be truly trusted with power. The Stoic philosophers who followed Zeno, including Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, would reinforce this point, arguing that those in positions of authority should be held to a higher standard. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the importance of ruling justly and temperately, reminding himself that the true goal of leadership was not personal gain, but the service of others. The relevance of Zeno's philosophy to modern political leadership cannot be overstated. In today's globalized world, political leaders face challenges that demand wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Let's take a closer look at how these Stoic virtues can be applied in the real world. Wisdom in decision-making. Modern leaders are often faced with complex decisions that affect millions of people. Whether it's navigating economic crises, handling international relations, or managing internal political conflict, the ability to make sound decisions is crucial. Zeno's virtue of wisdom can help guide leaders to base their decisions on reason, evidence, and the common good, rather than on personal interests or ideological dogma. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, many political leaders were forced to make difficult decisions about lockdowns, health policies, and resource allocation. Those who approached these decisions with wisdom considering expert advice, the needs of vulnerable populations, and long-term outcomes, were better able to protect their citizens' well-being. Leaders who acted impulsively or without careful deliberation, on the other hand, often faced greater consequences. The global response to the pandemic revealed how wisdom in decision-making can affect the outcome of public health and the economic stability of entire nations. Courage to uphold justice. Courage is a critical virtue for any leader, especially when the temptation to compromise or act out of self-interest is strong. Zeno's Stoicism teaches that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in accordance with one's principles despite fear. Political leaders must have the courage to confront injustice, even when it may be politically costly. Take the example of leaders like Angela Merkel, who, despite facing strong opposition, upheld her commitment to welcoming refugees during the European migrant crisis. Merkel's courage in the face of backlash demonstrated a willingness to act on moral principles, even if it was not politically expedient. Courage in leadership requires a leader to stand firm in their convictions and prioritize the well-being of others, even if doing so is unpopular. Justice and fair governance. In any society, the leader's responsibility is to create laws and policies that reflect justice, treating all citizens fairly and equally. Zeno's Stoic justice goes beyond simply adhering to laws. It requires leaders to be fair, impartial, and committed to the well-being of all people, regardless of their status or background. In the context of modern politics, we can look to leaders who have worked to reduce inequality, protect human rights, and ensure that marginalized groups have a voice in the political process. Zeno's call for justice would require modern political leaders to focus on the needs of the disadvantaged, rather than serving the interests of the wealthy or powerful. A modern example of a leader who embodied this kind of justice is Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who has made efforts to promote gender equality, reconciliation with Indigenous communities, and comprehensive immigration reform. Temperance and power. Power, if unchecked, can corrupt even the most well-meaning leaders. Zeno's virtue of temperance urges leaders to exercise restraint and avoid the excesses of power. This is particularly relevant in the age of populism and media-driven politics, where leaders are often tempted to use their power for personal gain or to manipulate public opinion. A leader who practices temperance understands that power is not a tool for self-aggrandizement, but a responsibility to be wielded for the common good. They resist the temptations of wealth, fame, and influence, instead focusing on their duties to the people they serve. In this sense, temperance is not just a personal virtue, but a public one that ensures that political leaders remain grounded and focused on their responsibilities. Zeno of Citium's philosophy offers a powerful and timeless vision of political leadership that prioritizes virtue over power, wisdom over manipulation, and justice over self-interest. In a world where political leaders are often judged by their charisma, popularity, and policies, Zeno's Stoicism offers a refreshing reminder that true leadership is not about winning elections or accumulating wealth, but about serving others with integrity, wisdom, and fairness. As we look at the leaders of today, we must ask ourselves, are they living up to the Stoic ideals of virtue? Are they ruling with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance? Zeno's philosophy challenges us to hold our leaders accountable, not just for their policies, but for their character. By returning to the timeless virtues of Stoicism, we can begin to reimagine a world where leadership is not defined by power or rhetoric, but by the pursuit of virtue and the common good. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Zeno's philosophy of virtue and its implications for political leadership. If you found this exploration thought-provoking and insightful, be sure to subscribe to the Unfolding Journey. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with anyone who might be interested in learning more about the intersection of philosophy and leadership. We'll continue our journey together, unfolding more ancient wisdom and modern insights in future episodes. Until next time, stay curious, stay virtuous, and keep exploring,